What's up, all you lovely internet movie fans, and welcome back to Caped Commentary. Happy Tuesday. I am your host, Austin Johnson, and I have a ton of movie news to discuss with you guys today. We have the Batman Part 2 news, the Penguin cleaning up some awards at the Emmys, as well as Seth Rogen's The Studio, James Gunn talking Man of Tomorrow about Lex and Superman teaming up, and a greater threat coming, Peacemaker Episode 4 reviews. Unfortunately, we have some more streaming service raising prices, and then some big Doctor Doom news, and of course, going into Avengers Doomsday, some synopsis, some a little bit of small plot details, a possible suit reveal, and much more. Let's dive into everything and discuss the news right now on Caped Commentary. Let's go, guys. So, let's get things started off with this. By now, we all have streaming, and unfortunately, it seems like every month there's a new announcement about some services raising their price, they're hiking their price up, they're ad supported and non-ads tier are all going up. Well, unfortunately, it seems like that's happening both with Peacock and HBO Max. So HBO Max, a personal favorite of mine and one of the few streaming services that I actually have, is apparently raising their prices because, quote unquote, it's too cheap and affordable for average people right now. Yes, that was actually not exact quote, but essentially the juxtaposition of it. Like Zaslav and some HBO execs have essentially said, HBO Max, we know, is very popular, and we think it's too cheap right now. And based off of all the other streaming things being raised, technically they're not wrong with what's gone on with all the other services. And along with them, Peacock, a service that doesn't really have the library and quality of some of the better ones, is also raising prices too. And this comes with Apple TV just announcing last month that they'll be raising their prices as well. This is all just so unfortunate, and it's just squeezing out just like the average lover of streaming services and movies and televisions, and it really just increases churn, and people want to cut these services off because it's so expensive to pay for all these different ones. And like I said, HBO Max is a personal favorite of mine with prestige television, the quality, and the shows like Emmy nominee and winners, The Pitt, much more is on there too. So it's a bummer to hear that, but in this world of streaming, it's par for the course and to be expected at this point with everything else raising its prices as well. So they're trying to be competitive and kind of like, hey, people are paying for that service and it's raising it, and we have way better quality. We can raise our prices as well. So hopefully they get this sorted out, because we can't keep having this month after month after month with Apple TV, Peacock, Paramount Plus, HBO, then Disney, then Netflix, and then the cycle of repeats. It's like, come on, you're squeezing out everyone. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. I hate it personally. This is the downfall of streaming, and people, as long as they continue to use their services, the prices will eventually continue to be hiked and hiked and hiked in all of these, and it gets more and more expensive by the month, by the quarter, by the year. It's just an unfortunate circumstance that I hope we get resolved, because they can't keep getting away with this. Let me know your thoughts down below on that, and let's move on now to something that's very intriguing that I don't know if will go through or be allowed to happen. So Skydance Paramount, they had their merger, the big billion-dollar merger acquisition. That's a big thing already. It's now rumored that Paramount is trying to put in a cash offer to buy Warner Brothers. I personally hate this news for one reason alone, and I think it stifles the competition, and it can kind of, when big things like this merge, it kind of can squeeze out some creatives because they're just going to churn out more and more crap to put on their streaming service to make it as valuable as possible and people to sign up for their platform. I hate this because Warner Brothers has put out some outstanding movies this year, and now if you combine, you have the Skydance Paramount, and then now Warner Brothers is a part of that, they're just increasing their library for people to be attractive to and wanting to use it. But what happens to all the movies that they're trying to produce and get out there, and the DC universe, for instance, too? What would happen with that? I think David Ellison, who's the CEO and owner, he is in charge of Paramount. I think he genuinely loves movies. If you hear that guy talk in any interview, he talks about his love of movies and wanting to get his favorite ones produced. Like Call of Duty is kind of a little passion thing that he wants to get done over at Paramount. So that makes sense. And I think if this were to go through, that is one of the plus sides. But I don't know if this will actually happen. I don't think it will go through. But if they were to buy Warner Bros., I hope they just don't touch it after that. They can acquire them, then let them do their own thing still. They leave James Gunn in charge of the DCU. Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca leave them in charge of just the overall Warner Bros. Pictures and all those other movies that they've kind of produced and are in charge of and have done this year too. So don't touch it. But I just don't like this because I think it's consolidating the power, and you only have a few studios in the end if this keeps happening. And that's just not good for us as fans, I believe, in terms of creatives and loving the products that are put out there. I'm curious to know your thoughts, and if you think Paramount will actually buy Warner Bros. Do you think this is possible? Do you think if they offer it a cash offer, would it eventually go through and be approved? Let me know your thoughts down below, and let's move on now to some Peacemaker Episode 4 news. I thought Peacemaker Episode 4 was more of a setup and kind of prelude to what's to come in the coming episodes now, because they're really setting up some things with Peacemaker having to deal with Argus and Rick Flag Sr. coming after him, dealing with the consequences of his actions for killing Rick Flag and the vendetta that he's on now. Everything that's happening with the alternate dimension that he keeps going through. And it's like, what is that alternate universe? Is it like a lot of people have theorized Earth X? So I don't, if the Yahtzees are kind of in charge over it, I don't know personally, but he's told Adebayo that now. This episode, like I said, wasn't a lot going on. We kind of learned about how him, Augie, and Keith, they kind of acquired the QUC, where it came from this like random alien. So I'm very curious about that. We find out that his dad didn't make the Peacemaker helmets. He said it's a complicated story for another day. So I'm very curious what that means as well. The hardcore relationship, and now she's being like, she can't get a job, but Rick Flag Sr. has offered her kind of, hey, if you come back and help me bring a Peacemaker, I might be able to help you out get a government job again. So I'm curious how that unfolds as well. And many other side stories that are kind of unwinding and unfolding. We shall see where those go. So like I said, not probably one of my lower tier episodes of the season so far, but still a good episode and still teed up a lot for what's going to happen down the line. And I'm very excited to see where we go in the next episode. And then no one has seen the final 3 episodes of the season that James Gunn has said are massively important to the future of the DCU. So very curious in that regard. And that can kind of dovetail now into Man of Tomorrow news. James Gunn has confirmed that Man of Tomorrow is as much a Lex movie as it will be a Superman movie, and that eventually they'll have to team up to fight a much bigger world threat. That alone intrigues me, because the dynamic of like Clark and Lex was one of my favorite things from the Superman movie. Now, Nicholas Hoult killed it as Lex. What is the world-ending kind of threat, the bigger threat that could be coming that would cause them to team up, that would require Lex to need the war suit? Like, that gets your brain just churning. Like, I'm thinking Zod, I'm thinking Brainiac. Like, those are my top 2. I think they could be done. I think personally Brainiac was like a lot of people's choice now. Bizarro would make sense just because of what happened with the Superman movie and how it ends. But I don't know. I'm so intrigued by what this movie could be. And we get this movie in less than 2 years, which is absolutely insane news. So I'm very much intrigued to see where we go with the story, what's going to happen next, what causes them to team up, how's that dynamic going to work, is it going to be a full team up? Man of Tomorrow has multiple meanings. I think that can refer to Lex, that can refer to Superman, and that can refer to like a whole host of other people. Like, it can mean so many different things for what the story could be. I'm very intrigued by it and what it could be, but kind of let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you think the villain could be? What do you think Man of Tomorrow actually means? Where do you think they go with the story overall? What causes Lex to get the war suit? Where does it come from? And let me know what kind of theories and speculation that you may have. So we know that Superman comes out, is going to start filming April of 2026. Well, Matt Reeves confirmed at the Emmys that the Batman Part 2 will start filming in either April or May of 2026 for next year. And he also kind of let some more information out, too, that Robert Pattinson has actually read the script for the Batman Part 2. He's over the moon, ecstatic, and excited about the script. Kristen Milioti will not be returning as Sophia Falcone in that movie, and Colin Farrell's The Penguin will have a very limited, small role. So first off, I'm very sad to hear that Kristen and Colin Farrell Kristen won't be in it at all, and Colin Farrell will have a small role. But I think this kind of makes sense with what happened in the first Batman and then going into the Penguin. So they're going to kind of be behind the scenes, kind of building out the kind of crime boss underground, that portion of Gotham. And Matt Reeves has said this one is going to go in a much more different kind of direction that we've never really seen with Batman. And he's still going to be on that detective route. He's the world's greatest detective for a reason, so we're going to see that portrayed too. But I'm very curious to see what this means when he said kind of a different route that we've really never seen for Bruce Wayne and Batman as a whole. I'm kind of gets my brain kind of churning and thinking of what this could mean, where they could be going with the story and narrative overall. I don't really know what that could be, but there's Hush, there's the Court of Owls. Like, I think they will kind of stick. They did the Riddler, so they're not going to do the Joker. We already know that. I don't think Mr. Freeze really kind of fits for this next movie. I think he's potentially maybe in the third one, because we know the Joker is still going to be out there as well. But I think the Court of Owls, based off of where we left with Bruce and what happened with Gotham, the Court of Owls are a high probability that could be their Hush as well. So I'm very intrigued by this. Like I said, I'm very disappointed that those two, and Kristen Milioti won't be returning, and Colin Farrell has a small role, but it kind of makes sense. And I really am curious to see where this story just goes. But I love the Batman. So this starts filming next year. I'm so excited for that because the first one was great. I think this one has potential to be greater than that one if the story and the script are right. So let me know your thoughts down below if you like this news at all. Finally, we're going to move on to some big Avengers Doomsday news. So we kind of got a plot synopsis, a brief one, albeit, and a possible suit reveal for what Doom could be looking like for the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie. So we know that he's going to be both a master of science and technology, and he's going to unleash a crisis across the multiverse that causes multiple massive events that leads all to him creating one perfect kind of world. This all makes sense in accordance with 2015 Secret Wars and what Doom's kind of motive and motif is and what he was going to do and ultimately what he caused. All the incursions caused multiple Earths to collide into each other, leading into one world. He kind of goes to the power of the Beyonders, creates Battle World, a perfect utopia, yada, yada, yada. I think they'll be pulling from that story. I think they'll pull from the 1980s event of Secret Wars as well. I also think they'll be pulling some aspects from One World Under Doom, the current comic run that is absolutely outstanding and that you should all be reading because I love that run. But we also got this interesting look of like at this brilliant kind of light show that happened in Shanghai, and they kind of like put on like some art in terms of what I don't know. I don't personally think this is what his suit will look like too. You can kind of see right here. I don't think that's what it's going to. If it's like kind of the chain mail, like it still has a green and metallic look with the chain. I do like it. It looks cool, but I don't think that's how he will look in the movie. But this is interesting to hear that he's going to be both the master of technology and science, which is what he should be. He's an absolute expert at both. He's like his sorcery powers rival that of Doctor Strange, and his brilliance is up there with Reed Richards, probably like the smartest person in the universe. They go back and forth, so that's intriguing. Now the synopsis, like I said, this is almost a direct pull from Secret Wars, and I think as we all know is where this is headed. He's going to multiverse is going to end. All the heroes pretty much are going to pass away. They're going to die. He's going to kill them, and then he's going to create Battle World. This kind of perfect, one streamlined like universe, our world that's going forward. But it's not going to go well. That's all that we know. I love this though. Like this is all we need kind of right now. I don't need to know like his motive. I don't need to know why he looks like RDJ right now. That will be explained in trailers and throughout the movie. I don't need to know any of that. All they gotta do is continue to leak out these little things, little plot details, synopsis. And like I said, I don't think he'll actually look like this in the movie. I think we'll have a official kind of suit reveal coming like maybe in December, because that's when we get Avatar. That's another Disney project as well, and that's about a year out from when we know Doomsday is going to come out as well. And we also know that came out that Doomsday will wrap filming this week. You know, a lot of people have already wrapped their scenes out and coming. It's like Nightcrawler, Chris Hemsworth just wrapped as well. So like we know it officially ends this week, and they'll go into post-production for the next like 13, 14 months or whatever. That's fine. That all makes sense. I'm cool with all that stuff. Not really that big of a deal. I think the biggest news is they're wrapping filming this week. So like I said, I think we can expect in the coming months some teases and like eventual like a Tom Holland like reveal of what RDJ is going to look like in the official suit. Like we get to see the mask, the cloak, all that stuff. So get excited for that. Let me know your thoughts on if you think this is how his suit could actually look. The synopsis. Do you think what stories do you think they'll be pulling from? Like 2015 Secret Wars, 80s, well, Under Doom, any other kind of comic arts? What do you like about the suit? Do you hate it? Do you want to see the design? Eventually, we're gonna get the white God Emperor Doom armor. We already know that. Like that's coming. I cannot wait to see that on the screen. That's going to be amazing. But let me know your thoughts on all these topics down below. Any movie news that I missed as well. Also, shout out to the studio and to the Pitt for winning all these awards, and the studio absolutely cleaning up with its first season, winning like almost every comedy like section award that's at the Emmys. They were outstanding. The studio was a great show. I loved it. The Pitt, I loved too. I know people loved, and they loved Andor. They thought Andor should have won Best Drama. I didn't personally watch Andor. I know I've missed out on it, and I want to watch it at some point down the line. But I actually love The Pitt. The Pitt was outstanding. And season 2 comes out in January, so I'm excited about that, and the turnaround is very quick. But let me know your thoughts down below on all these movie topics. Did I miss anything of importance that you want to talk about? What are your thoughts? And I will see you guys next Tuesday for another episode of Commentary. Love you guys. Peace.